Yeah.
Yeah. What time we got?
5:58.
What do we got in here? Give everyone a couple more minutes and we'll get started.
Trying to read through the comments.
We got Coach Connor here, helping out with the comments. Try to be as interactive as possible.
James and Mr. Dowman.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in.
Mr. Arrington and Kyle.
Kyle, what's up, buddy?
Sorry if I'm missing some people. Keaton and Justice. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for coming.
Nolan and Cal. They miss Hitters Club. We miss it too.
We do too, believe me. Definitely wish we could be doing that stuff for sure. No doubt.
Matthew Mayer. What's up, dude?
Matt, what's going on?
What's up, Bradley?
All right, so closing up to 6. We're going to get started. So it's going to be myself, Coach Schubert, Coach Connor helping out. We're just going to go over some basic picks, first base, second base. And if you guys have any questions about anything pitching related, anything baseball related, obviously we're happy to have a conversation about it. Obviously we want to talk baseball. That's why we do this stuff. We want to be involved. So yeah, any questions you guys have, any comments, please feel free. We'll try to do a good job of communicating with you guys while this is going on. But yeah, we're going to take you through some basic picks, first base, second base. Again, if you guys have questions at any point about anything, just please let us know. More than happy to answer anything you got. You got anything, Coach Connor, before we get started?
Looks like Cannon's here. What's up, Cannon?
Cannon, what's up, buddy?
Again, sorry if we're missing anyone. Trying to figure it out.
First timers over here.
All right,
Good?
let's go.
All right, so the first thing we're going to start with is just some picks to first base. Just generally controlling the running game. There's a lot of things that go into it. We'll try to keep it as basic as possible, maybe get into some more in depth, but just in general, we're going to try to keep it as basic as possible, just because I'm sure there's going to be a wide range of ages in here, so we want to make it for everyone. First thing we're going to start with is just picks to first base. Honestly, real basic. There's a couple different options. Again, the coaches that you play for are going to have their own opinions on what picks to do. We're just going to give you the ones that we like to do. The three main ones are going to be A, B, and C. C being our just check and kind of move, and as we get closer to A, that's when it's starting to get a little bit better. Now we're working on really, okay, we think we can pick this guy off. Now it's a good time to use my A move. Got anything going on along with that, Coach Connor?
No, just like Coach said, as we get closer to A, our move is getting better. We're going to go through how we think the best way to go through the moves are. So I say we go ahead and get started.
Yeah, okay, so we'll start with the C move. Again, various coaches will have you do a C move. Some guys won't. It's good to know. Not saying everyone's going to use it. I'm a coach that usually I don't have my guys do this one, but again, it's perfectly fine if you do it, especially if you're just learning how to pick off. Really basic one to do. Just to run through it real quick, just going to come set, okay, step off, and then throw. When you step off, so when we do the movement of stepping off, as soon as you do that, as I'm sure most of you guys know, you don't have to throw the ball. So this is one where if you are uncomfortable, if you don't feel like you're comfortable throwing the ball to first base without throwing it away, which does happen a lot at the younger ages, I do encourage guys to just throw it anyways. Make mistakes when you're young so that as you get older, you're more comfortable with it. Again, you'll be that much better as a pitcher if you have good pickoff moves. It's such an underrated part of pitching. So doing a move like this where all we're doing, if Coach Connor wants to show one as well, all we're trying to do is step off, show the runner we're still thinking about him, that we didn't forget about him. Just make it real basic, under control. If you do throw it, just a good throw. This is one that we're not going to pick anybody off, really. We're not trying to. Again, pickoffs are really just to control runners. It's a big plus if we pick them off, but that's not going to be the main goal of it. It's always going to be, I need to keep this guy here. There's a good chance I think he's going to steal. I want to make sure he doesn't get a good jump off me. Anything going along with that?
Yeah, just to add to that, I always try and think about it from a base running standpoint. So if the pitcher steps off and throws over, am I worried about getting picked off? Probably not, but I am now aware that he's aware of me. So he knows that I'm on base. He's checking on me a little bit. So he knows I'm there. I know that he's looking at me.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. Coach Connors, since he was a college two-way player, played shortstop, also pitched, he can give us good insight on mindset of a base runner as well, which is really important to understand as a pitcher, because that can help us think through it a little bit more when we're on the mound and make us a better pitcher, right? So again, just going through this is our C move, so it's something that you don't have to have. Again, some coaches like it, some coaches don't. Completely up to you guys if you want to put it in. But yeah, it's just pretty much basically we're just showing the runner that we haven't forgotten about him. Maybe I'm uncomfortable throwing the ball, so I need to make sure that he knows I'm still thinking about him, so I step off. I can make a throw if I want, don't have to though. Yeah, again, enough with a C move, moving on to B, so getting a little bit better. What I like to tell my guys is, when you do your B move, this is a move that if a base runner sees you do it, there's a chance he thinks that was your best move. And we'll talk about why that's important as we get to A, but when I'm teaching guys how to do this, the B move, it's a good move. It's going to be a quick move. We're going to have quick feet. Arm's going to be moving quick. But the one thing that's going to be a little bit different from our best move is going to be our arm path. I might slow my arm down a little bit, but definitely not enough to make it noticeable to any runners, coaches, the opposing team at all. What I want to do is just make sure my arm is getting a little bit longer. By me getting a little bit longer, it's going to help not slow the ball down, but it's going to take more time for that ball to get to first base. So as we get to the A move, that's when we'll talk about what the difference is going to be and how is it different if I don't have a long arm, if I have a short arm. But yeah, B is our move where, okay, I think this guy might be running. I don't want to show my best move yet, but I do want to show that I'm getting closer to that, or I want them to believe, okay, here's my best move. Let's see if you can get back, right? And then from there, we'll see if he gets a bigger lead, and then go on from there. Maybe go to A if we need to. But our B move, just like I was saying, quick feet, quick body, quick arm, everything's quick. I'm just going to be a little bit longer with my arm when I'm bringing it back. So what I would do, again, you can pick at any time. So one thing we should talk about real quick, just going into it, is when can you pick? You can pick it any time you want. So a lot of younger guys will think that you have to come set before you pick, and that's just not true. You can pick at any time. Sometimes you'll see guys pick from here, like before they come set. Sometimes you'll see guys pick as they're coming set. One thing, again, we're big on is making sure that we are varying our tempo with our picks, which just means I am varying when I am picking. I don't always want to, biggest mistake of younger guys, come set, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then pick, right? Or pitch. If we're talking about controlling runners, changing our tempo to pitch is also important as well. So Coach Connor, if you want to talk about any kind of base running thoughts in regards to tempo before we move on to B and A move.
Yeah, just if I don't know what the pitch is going to do as a base runner, that makes things a lot tougher. If he's going to pick on after 1 second or after 2.5 seconds, that makes a big difference for a base runner because I don't know when he's going to pick. I'm always on edge. So that makes me more timid. If I'm looking to run, now I'm thinking about possibly just shutting it down until I can pick up some type of timing or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, as a pitcher, again, if we're talking to our base runners, us as coaches, if we're talking to our base runners, we're teaching them, we're hopefully getting them to notice things about the pitcher, bad habits. So a big one for young pitchers, and even high school pitchers, college pitchers, same thing. All of them have issues with it if we don't really put it into our game and practice it, is not changing our tempo, which if I'm teaching a base runner little tricks of how, like an advantage of how to steal bases, the first thing we would talk about is just see if the pitcher is doing something that's the same. See if he's in a habit of something, whether it's coming set and picking right away. So maybe he doesn't come set. He always picks as he's coming set. That's good stuff for base runners to know. And it's good stuff for us to know as pitchers because, again, we got to know that base runner is trying to pick up things about us that's going to let him get a better jump on us. So making sure that we are changing what we're doing is extremely, extremely important, just so that base runner can't have that advantage of, okay, I know he's going to pick on 2 or I know he's going to pitch on 2. We want to be as unpredictable as possible. That's one of the main things I want you guys to know about this is be as unpredictable as possible. So yeah, going into the B move, going into the actual footwork, we are going to talk about 2 different variations with our footwork. Okay, one of them is going to be kind of a jump turn or switching our feet. Okay, so we're going to go quick with our feet again. Okay, you can either hop, or the other one would be where I kind of take 2 steps. This is the one that I really like to do. Okay, I just felt more under control. I felt like my feet could get in line a little bit better with first, make better throws. Okay, so I would go right foot, left foot, and then throw. Again, doing it quick. We'll do a little example here. Okay, so right foot, left foot, throw. Complete preference, what you like. I know some guys do like to do the jump. Coach Connor, when you were playing, what did you like to do?
I did like to do the jump as well.
Jump. Okay, so again, 2 different pitchers. I like to do the 2 steps. Coach Connor liked to do the jump. Completely up to you guys what you want to do. They're both quick. But the big thing about the B that we want to recognize that's different is quick feet, quick body. But we're kind of reaching back a little bit to make that throw. Coach Connor, if you want to go through yours. Good. So, again, real basic, nothing too crazy. The big thing is just be comfortable with picking off. A big thing that younger guys don't do enough is pick off. A lot of guys get in the habit of just forgetting about the runner, and then that gets teams into trouble. So don't be scared to pick off. Don't be scared to throw the ball away. It happens. Make mistakes now so that once you get older, you're comfortable doing it. You create some good pickoff moves, right? You become a better pitcher because we learn how to control the runners. So now we're going to move into A. You want to go through A, Coach?
Yeah, so A, everything is basically the same as our B move. We're still trying to be quick with our feet. We're trying to be quick. We're trying to throw it hard. The difference is going to be that we're going to be shorter with our arm pass. So with our B move, as Coach was saying, we're being longer. Okay, now that we're trying to pick them off, this is our best move, our quickest, our fastest. We're trying to be short. That's how we like to shorten our move, just so they don't know which one. Again, we want the B move to be, oh, that was his best move. That's all he's got.
Yeah, so perfect, right? It's all I'm doing differently now is, yes, maybe I do try to throw a little bit harder, but in general, if I just shorten up my arm path, it will get the ball to first base quicker, which makes it a quicker move. Again, everything looks the same, so the base runner thinks I'm doing the same move, but in reality, the ball will actually get to the base quicker. So if we're doing an A move, again, everything should look fairly similar. And then we're just being shorter. Coach Connor, if you want to go through yours. Good. Kind of like we're throwing like an infielder. I know a lot of you younger guys that are playing, you play multiple positions. Again, learn to throw from different arm slots because not only does it help you in the infield, outfield, wherever. It also helps you on the mound, just because when I'm trying to be an athlete on the mound, like picking off, doing stuff like that, I got to be able to make good throws with my body moving extremely quick. So make sure you are able to throw from different arm slots, because one thing you'll notice when you do pick and you do an A move, yeah, you might throw a little bit more from the side, just like an infielder would. So it's important that when we're playing catch, when we're warming up, that's something we work on as well. Going into that, when we're playing catch, good idea to use these picks, right, as a part of our warm-ups. Once we do our actual warm-ups, go through our throwing progressions, as you're coming in, take 2 or 3 minutes to work on your picks. Again, it's making you a better player overall, making you a better pitcher, making you more athletic, moving your feet quick, moving your body quick, working on hitting a target, right? It's making you better, and it's such an easy way to make yourself better with those reps that we forget are good reps to put in extra time, extra practice for different things. It's really underrated to use those warm-up reps as reps to work on pitching, work on infield, work on outfield. So make sure nothing's different with pickoffs. Is after I'm done warming up, go out there, take 3 to 5 minutes and work on your picks. What else you got with the A move, Coach? Anything?
No, just with all of our moves, we want to make sure that we're missing to the left side of the bag if we miss. Of course, we want to throw it right to the first baseman so that he can just put the tag down. That's not always going to happen. One of the big things that I see when players make bad throws to first is that they miss on this side. And if you're throwing it hard, think about your A move. You're going fast. If you throw it right here, sometimes the first baseman can't get there. But if you throw it just a little bit to the left, sometimes they can get there. So if we're going to miss, let's miss on the left side. And that's for our pickoffs at second too, which we're going to get to in a little bit.
Yeah, again, great point. It's we want to make sure we still, like, even if I make a poor throw, which happens, it happens to the best players, it does. So if we make a bad throw, we just need to teach ourselves, okay, if I miss, I want to miss on the runner side of the bag, right? I want to miss towards the baseline, right? Just because if it is a bad throw, then yeah, that first baseman can be athletic, still make a tag, right? And even if he doesn't make a tag, he's still got a chance to catch the ball. If it's way behind him, obviously he doesn't have that chance anymore. Anything else? Anything else as a base runner looking for a move?
No? Again, one thing is that we do want to save this one for a good time when you think you're going to pick him off. Like, it's a good count to run in. The base runner's probably looking to run right here. That's when it's a good time to use your A move. I wouldn't use my A move so let's say we walk the first hitter, that first pickoff that I do of the game, I'm not sure that I would go straight to my A move, because now I've just shown them my best hand.
No doubt. Yeah, saving it for an important time. I know you want to use it, you want to pick guys off. We just have to understand we have to set ourselves up to do that. So if we do it too early, we kind of mess that up for later in the game. It's going to be the same with our other picks at second base that we're going to talk about a little. We got to save them for the right time, right? We want you guys to pick for sure. We want you guys to work on your picks. Just be selective with what picks you do at what times. And that's a part of learning the game, is learning, okay, this is a really good time. I know this guy, every time he's gotten on first, he's stolen off me on the second pitch, right? That's a good time. Like, we're learning things about ourselves, learning things about runners, right? Which, again, is going to make us an overall better player in the long run. But yeah, another big thing about, and Coach can talk about this as well, again, college base runner. So I think something that's very, very underrated is actually just coming set and then just holding. Just holding. Because if that guy is going, and Coach can correct me if I'm wrong, but guys are going to get antsy. You're going to, like, your infield, your coaches are going to be able to tell if he wants to run. He's going to be there, and he's going to be itching to run. You kind of tell if we hold it. So that's another good thing. First base, second base, long pause. Wait till, you see it all the time. Wait till someone calls time, sorry. Yeah, stand there, wait till someone calls time, or just stand there and then 7 seconds in, throw a pick in there, right? A lot of times you will get them going the other way because they're getting too anxious.
Yes, as a base runner, what we would teach our base runners if they do the long hold, we would probably just want to shut it down. Because when, let's say Coach Schubert's pitching, I'm running the bases, if he's going long hold, I'm just basically, the way I like to think about it is I'm sinking into the ground. my feet are they're coming bricks as I just stand here and stand here and stand here. So a long hold, it's a great, one, to shut down base runners, but two, let's see what they're trying to do. It's kind of comparable to doing an inside move, which we'll talk about in a little, but comparable to doing an inside move with the runner on second. We can't really inside move with the runner on second to see if he's trying to hop and go, so we can long hold at first, and that's the way that we can see, is he leaning or is he not?
Yeah, no, again, great point. So yeah, if anybody has any questions about moves to first, you want to go check that for us, Coach Connor?
Yeah.
Any questions or anything, please feel free to ask. If not, we'll move on to second base. Hope everyone's staying safe out there, taking care of yourselves.
So are there certain counts to pick off or not pick off?
Yeah, so we gotta think about it. And this, obviously, there's so many different scenarios. You gotta think about the base runner. You gotta think about the team. Teams are notorious. There's some teams who are notorious for running. We got to think about it, again, as a base runner, it's pretty simple. You're thinking, as a base runner, what count am I going to give myself a good chance to run and make it to second, make it to third? And most of the time, again, at any age level, it's going to be a breaking ball counter. If you know, okay, every time this guy throws a breaking ball or an off-speed pitch in this count, yeah, that's probably your best chance because the ball's going to get to the plate slower. Yeah, I mean, just in regards to that, there's a lot of variables that go into it for sure. But just a basic answer to that is any kind of breaking ball or off-speed count. You can almost expect if it's a guy that wants to run, that's probably when he would go. So again, you can pick it anytime you want. I encourage guys to pick more just because so many guys don't pick. They're so scared to pick. So making sure that you are not forgetting about it and making sure it's a part of your every game, every practice routine of getting comfortable picking. Extremely, extremely important. We don't want to forget about that because teams will take advantage of it. Good base runners, good offensive teams will definitely take advantage of that. So we want to make sure we're thinking, okay, what count is it right now? What pitch is likely to come? Is there a good chance that this guy's going to run? You got anything else with that, Coach Connor?
No, that was good.
Okay.
It was a good question.
Great question.
I think that was Keaton and Justice. Mr. Arrington and Kyle, for base runners, do you teach to watch the right-handed pitcher's heel that's in contact with the rubber only? Any other things to watch?
What do you got, Coach Connor? This is your forte.
So there's a lot. I know this isn't a base running thing, but there is a lot that you could watch for with when they're going to pick. A lot of guys do different things. So some pitchers, when they're going to the plate, they'll start to move forward with their body. So maybe we would watch for that.
Can I chime in one thing right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so going off with that, just like Coach Connor said, another big thing we see is guys, when they're getting ready to pitch, is actually a move backwards as well. So again, just going off of guys going forward when they're going to pitch, same thing. You might see the opposite of, you're going to see a lot more guys go backwards first. As you get up in the ranks, yes, it turns into not as many guys go back before they go forwards, but especially at the younger ages, you're going to see a ton of guys lift and move back as they're lifting. So again, dead giveaway, just watching their body before their heels do anything.
Yes, I would say the answer is yes. I would watch for the heel. That's not the only thing. I would say that's the default. So if it's the first inning, our leadoff hitter gets on base, I would say that's what I would want him to look for now until we can pick something up to where he's going, okay, when his hands move down, if I see his elbows move, that means that he's going to pick. When they don't move, that means that he's going to the plate. There's a bunch of different things like that we probably couldn't even go through all of them. So again, I would say the answer is yes, that's the default, but that's not always the case. And like Coach Schubert said, a big one is leaning to the plate to go to the plate, or leaning back to go to the plate, or leaning back to pick. So there's a lot of different things that we can look for in regards to that.
No doubt. even though Coach Connor and I are not left-handed pitchers, we do want to touch on it. Obviously, it's super important. Justice, you're in here, left-handed pitcher. Couple different moves you can do. We'll turn this around for you. Obviously, a basic one, the most basic one, is just a straight up lift. Okay, step towards first. Again, this would be like your C move, B move, depending on how you make it look. Something you lefties should start to do if you haven't done it already is the A move is a popular term you'll hear for it is the 45-degree move, which means if we draw a line from the rubber straight out, from the rubber to the plate, that's 90 degrees. Okay, and then we'd find 45. As I'm taking my stride, I would stride, instead of striding directly towards first or directly towards the plate to pitch, I would find somewhere in between. This is a very, very popular move. This is, when you see a left-handed guy that picks a lot of guys off, this is the pick-off that they're doing. So it would be, again, we can't cross over, so we got to make sure we be careful of that. But it would be just a straight lift, and then a step out, again, somewhere close to 45 degrees, somewhere between first, home. We want to try to go as far as we can, as far as they'll let us go. Again, this is the one where you lefties are really, really going to start to see yourself pick guys off. No doubt about it. So for your A move, again, just lift, and then it would be a 45-degree step. Okay, make sure we are moving as I'm throwing the ball, making sure my body is moving through first base. A big indicator, and again, Coach Connor can talk more on this base running side. One thing that base runners will look for, and it's a giveaway, is what our shoulders are doing. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So if
yes.
I turn in, way more likely to pick off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So
no doubt.
what we're trying to do with our body is, like, if I'm the pitcher, I'm trying to keep everything just like if I was pitching to home. I want to make it look like I'm pitching. So if I do go like that, only when I pick off, yeah, they're obviously gonna see that. If I lift my leg and my shoulders are still towards home, that's what I want to do when I do this A move, because I want to make it look like I am pitching home, and that's how you're going to have a really, really good A move. That's how you're going to pick guys off. Lefties, yeah, you're going to pick way more guys off than righties are. You got anything else with that, Coach Connor?
No, that was good.
No?
Yeah.
Anything else we got on there?
Yeah, we got a ton of questions. Footwork off the rubber on pick, please demonstration. So I think that's the C move.
So C move. Again, really, really, really basic. Again, some coaches are big on this, other coaches are not. I'm one of the coaches that isn't a huge fan of it. I don't think it should be a huge staple in your like pitching routine. I don't think it should be a big part of it. But I don't say you should completely take it out. If you have it, you have it. That's perfectly fine. Just not something you need. And that's the one thing I want you guys to. It's not something you need, because as a base runner, again, it's not really doing anything to keep them there. I would say, again, Coach Connor can correct me if I'm wrong. It's not selling anything like you're going to get a guy out, or even like, oh yeah, that was a good move, so I need to shorten my lead. So in my opinion, it's not like we're helping ourselves control the running game, because nothing about him changes. Yes, we did step off, and he did have to go back to the bag, and he knows we're thinking about him. But it doesn't affect, like me as a base runner, I don't think much of it. But the footwork for it would just be a step off the rubber, like straight back, and then we would just turn and throw. So if we're doing it live, step off, and then throw. Pretty basic.
Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
On the A and B moves, does the back foot need to be behind the rubber when attempting to pick?
It does not. So that's a great question. So when you are picking, your right foot, your back foot, and just pretty much turn. You can do a 90-degree turn right in front of the rubber. Okay, we're just trying to disengage our foot from the rubber, and that's it. That's what makes it so quick, is that we're not stepping off. And that's why I prefer the B and the A move over having a C move. Again, there's nothing wrong with having a C move. If you guys want a C move and you're still getting comfortable with picking, yeah, I would encourage doing the C move, because you don't have to throw it. Once we do just a pick where my foot isn't stepping off, then I do have to throw the ball. So for B and A, we do have to throw it, but we just want to make sure that we're still being quick, arms are being quick, body's being quick, everything's being quick, just changing what we're doing with our arms. So yes with the, or no with B and A, we do not step off, so we don't step behind the rubber, we're going to step in front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next one, should you pick more than once in a row normally?
No, again, depending. A lot of factors going into this. It really does depend. Depends on the base runner. Depends on who you are. There's definitely times for it. I'm a guy who, yeah, I think there's value in picking multiple times. Again, as a base runner, you're trying to gauge. Okay, this guy always picks once and then he goes. He always picks twice and then he goes. So yes, to change things up, and like I said before, be unpredictable. As long as we're not doing the same thing every time where we pick twice, then I pitch. Next runner gets on first, I pick twice, and then I pitch. Yeah, so that's not, again, going into the different variables, that's not something we want to do, but I think there is definitely value into picking multiple times, even 3 times, 4 times. I'm not going to tell you how many times you can do it. Again, there's times for everything. There's different situations, different variables that go into it. Just use your best judgment with it. But there definitely is value to it, I would say. Coach Connor, you got any input on that? Again, as a base runner.
No, the only thing I would say as a base runner, just like Coach Schubert said, is that I'm looking as a base runner. So this is when I'm in the dugout or while I'm at first base. How many times is he going to go in a row? So if I know he's going to pick and then go to the plate in the very next pitch, then eventually I'm just going to wait for him to try and pick me off, and then, all right, I know he's going to the plate, and then I can run pretty easily. So
Be unpredictable.
Be unpredictable. Yeah.
Everything you do on the mound, be unpredictable.
Let's see. So why do umpires get A and B footwork wrong and call a balk?
That's interesting. What do they call? Well, I don't know if you can answer this right now, but
could you clarify that? Yeah.
Yeah. Can you please clarify like what they're saying you're doing? Because there is such thing as a balk move. And Coach Connor and I were going back and forth whether to talk about this. There is something called a balk move. And this is something that pitchers do. High-level pitchers do it. So what it would be is where if I move my front foot first, so I'll get a little bit closer on this. Is this good? You see?
Yeah, you're pretty good.
So if we're looking at the footwork, if I move my front foot first and then move my back foot, technically that is a balk. Again, this is a move that some right-handed pitchers do at higher levels. Again, they call it a balk move for a reason. It technically is a balk. Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that I could see them calling it for. Coach Connor, you got any other ideas of what you've seen?
No, I'm not exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be the thing that stands out is, okay, yeah, his front foot moves first. You got to deliver to the plate. But yeah, if you can clarify exactly what they were saying, maybe we can go into some specifics about it.
For sure.
Yeah, anything else on there before we go to second? Any other questions?
No, I think if we missed any, we're going to do a Q&A at the end. So if we miss any, you can send it now, or we're definitely going to try and get a bunch of questions at the end. So sorry if we miss any.
Yeah, so now we're going into second base. Yeah, if you have any questions at any point, just ask us. We will get to it eventually. Okay, so going into second base, 2 picks you can really do. There's something called the spin turn. There might be different names for it. Spin turn and inside move. So spin move, spin turn, inside move. Okay, those are the 2 big ones. Those are the ones you're going to see most often. So if we're talking about the spin move, the spin turn, okay, obviously second base is going to be back this way for me now. Okay, so it comes to that. And then what my feet are going to do is I'm pretty much, again, 2 ways to do it in my opinion. Okay, we can either jump turn, so I can jump, switch my feet, or I can take a step with my back foot forward, okay, and then my back foot will replace my front foot. So and that would be the basic move. Okay, again, we can also do a jump if you wanted to. Again, I feel a little bit less comfortable doing that one. I feel like it's very choppy whether I'm going to get my feet in line with second base or not. So me personally, I felt much more comfortable with taking the steps. It can still be very smooth. We can still do it very smooth. Okay, and we can make the throws like that. But complete preference. Either of those I find have success depending on who you are, depending on what you like to do, your preference. There's definitely success with both of them. Coach Connor, if you want to talk about what you like to do, if you have any other ideas with the spin move, jump turn.
Yeah, so again, just like my pickoff moves to first, I was a guy who liked to jump. I just felt more comfortable that way. So again, like Coach Schubert said last time, 2 different pitchers, 2 different ways to do things. So
Yeah, you want to show yours?
yeah.
Yeah, again, real basic. This is where you're really going to see the timing plays come into play. Some of you younger guys probably don't know anything about timing plays yet, but there's timing plays with the shortstop where you're going off like you are picking off your head turning, maybe the catcher flipping his glove down. Those are very popular ones where you'll see where that is a sign for you to pick, and then the shortstop knows that's a good time for him to cut over. Or when the catcher goes down, the catcher flipping his glove down is an indicator that the shortstop is running towards second. There's a bunch of different timing plays. Again, your coaches, whatever team you're on, your coaches, if they have timing plays, they will take you through the ones that they like to do. There's so many of them. We're not going to, unless you guys have specific questions, we won't go through them all. Just the idea of when you're doing the spin turn, that's the move that you're going to do the timing plays on. So as you get older, again, you see timing plays more and more with the shortstop, with the catcher. What do you got on that, Coach? Again, being a shortstop.
Yeah. So one thing I just wanted to add too, and I'm curious of your opinion as well. I'm not a fan of A and B moves when we're going to second. Again, I think anytime that we're going to pick the second, we're trying to pick them off because it's kind of a surprise. We don't pick the second as much as we do the first. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Again, I never want to discourage anybody from picking. If you like to pick, go ahead and pick. I'd rather you pick a little bit too much than not enough. At least you're trying to control the runners. As you get older, you'll learn the times when, okay, this is a good time to do it, or this is very unnecessary. This guy, he doesn't run fast. He doesn't get good jumps. I've seen it in the past. He doesn't even take a secondary lead. Not a good time to pick. Don't need to waste a pick on him. So, yeah, I think 100% make sure they're real picks. You're doing it for a reason. We are trying to pick this guy off. Anything else with that?
No?
Okay, so going into, you want to check for any comments on that, any questions?
Yeah.
And then we'll go into the inside move.
Do first base and pitcher have some sort of signal for when to pick?
So no. Again, there's different teams have different things. There might be a team that has their first baseman say something specific, or maybe a coach says something specific. Usually the signs will come from the catcher. So the catcher, in general, is just going to give a sign. When they put the thumb out, just basic. Thumb out means pick. So if there's a runner on first, you see this from the catcher. First baseman's he's always ready for a pick. So he's always ready. He's always in the position to receive a pick. Making sure that when you see this, okay, that means pick. But again, there's no saying that this team might say something, and that might mean, okay, no sign. Like the catcher's not giving any sign, first baseman's not giving any sign. I just heard this. The pitcher hears this one term, whatever it is, and that means pick. The first baseman knows it. Pitcher knows it. So just in general, that depends on the team. But just overall, catcher is going to call the picks. Maybe the coach will give the catcher the sign, but the catcher will give the sign to the pitcher, usually the thumb, and that will mean pick. So, anything else on there?
So do you have to throw the ball to first, or do you have to throw the ball to second?
Okay, so to second, we do not have to throw. Okay, you can pick without throwing the ball. A lot of guys they throw the ball away to second base when they don't have to throw it. That's one thing that's good about second is you don't have to throw the ball. Yeah, and I encourage you to throw it. But if you're uncomfortable and you want to show this guy a pick, just know that you don't have to throw it. like you're worried that he's getting too big of a lead, but you're really scared to throw it away, just show him a move and don't throw it. Make sure you're going through it full speed. Just anything like that, yeah, you do not have to throw to second. The only time we have to throw to first is when I don't step off. So if I'm not stepping off, okay, I do have to throw. If I do step off, I do not have to throw it. Okay, so making sure that if I step off, I don't have to throw. Again, I encourage you to throw. Okay, make throws, make mistakes, learn how to control your body, yourself, the ball while you're moving. I know it's a tough thing to do when you're first learning, but throw it, make mistakes, it's okay. You'll learn from it, you'll get better at it. A and B move, if we just disengage our foot from the rubber in front of the rubber, you do have to throw the ball. Do you see anything else on there, Coach Connor?
Nope.
No? Nothing?
No, move on to inside move.
Okay. So inside move. This is a tough one. Very, very, very difficult to do. Very difficult to do. A good one, I should say. Okay. So the biggest mistakes we see here is, or what I should say, what I should start this with is, if you want to have a good inside move, we need the runner to believe that I am pitching. So throughout my motion, if I know I'm going to pick to second with an inside move, I need that runner to believe that I am going to pitch the ball. A big thing you'll see with that, if you have a good inside move, is that, again, at the younger ages, you can see a lot of guys start to take their secondary way too early, and if you have a good inside move, there's a good chance that you can pick them off if you make a good throw. But we need to sell it that we are pitching home. So we are pitching the ball, okay, and then at the last second, I step over. So, again, just basically what we're trying to do, okay, act like I'm going to pitch, my leg is going to go up, and then we're going to have it as it goes down. I'm going to start to separate my hands a little bit. As my foot gets closer to the ground, we want it to start going over the rubber. Okay, and then once my foot steps on the ground over the rubber, I'm going to set my feet and throw. Some basic points with this, just like I talked about with pickoffs to first base from a lefty, I want my eyes, my shoulders to stay on the plate as long as I can. That's one of the most important parts about it, just because that makes it look like I'm going to pitch home. So making sure it looks like I'm delivering a pitch gets him to take a secondary. Okay, that's when we start to have our foot up, down, over. We step off. He's gotten to his secondary already. He's way off the bag. You either run at him, okay, or you give the ball up. Got anything to go along with that?
Yeah, as you get better with it, okay, again, we want to make it super realistic. So if you're the base runner on second base, and the pitcher starts to sink down as he's going down, and see if we can angle this. And as you get farther away, obviously the camera isn't all the way at second base, but it looks a little bit like I'm going to the plate as I start to sink down. It's not an easy move to do, but the best inside moves that I see, that's what players do. Is they start to sink, and then they turn to go to second. So it looks like they're sinking down to go towards the plate, and then all of a sudden they're throwing the ball to second.
Yeah, so, again, great point right there. Going along with that, and this is something that you guys can think about a little bit out of the box, is another person we are trying to fool is a third base coach as well. Some of the biggest mistakes that'll be made is leaning back too early. This is like if I'm coaching third base and I see a kid get up there and go, already before as he's starting to lift his leg, I know he's going to pick. It's easy for me to say back. We have to make sure that not only, okay, we're getting this guy, but we are also not letting the third base coach or anybody that's paying attention to us know that, okay, I'm picking. So we don't want to have any big triggers to where it's like, yeah, he's picking over a second because his body's moving back. Another big one is a turn back towards second as we're lifting. Is turning everything back towards second. The most basic move we see at the younger ages is lift and turn right away. Again, not at any point throughout that delivery did it look like I was actually going to pitch home. Okay, so making sure that my leg is coming up, and then it's going back down, and as it's going back down, just like Coach Connor said, again, really good point of sinking down, just because that's going to be one of the first movements when I'm pitching is getting into my legs, okay? both legs are going down, and this front leg is going to step over the rubber. I'm going to set my feet. Again, I can run at him if he's way off. If he's in the middle, I run at him. I make sure I run him to second base, right, and then give the ball up. I never want to run him to third. Okay, so I'm making sure I'm running him back, or I can just give the ball up. Either one completely fine. But those are some of the things we want to avoid, is leaning back towards second too early or turning our body too much. A little piece that I mentioned earlier was, as my leg is coming, just to make it look more realistic, is as my leg comes down, my hands are going to start to separate when I'm pitching towards home. So I want to make it as realistic as possible. When I'm picking towards second, same thing. I want those hands to start to separate as my leg is going down.
Again, anytime, just like I was saying with spin moves to second, I think that this is another time where we're just going to do our best one. I'm not sure that we have a bad inside move.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could, but...
Yeah, because I've started thinking about that more and more, because I was on the same page with, there's never a reason to do a really bad one, but the more I thought about it, and this is something that you guys can use, the more it made me realize that there's so many kids out there with bad ones. If you have a good one, maybe it's not a terrible idea to do maybe a B move, like a B inside move. Again, this is something that I've never incorporated into my teams. I just started thinking about it. I do think it's a good idea with how many bad inside moves you see. Yeah, show the team, okay, not let a guy get on second base, but when a guy gets on second base, show him a couple bad ones. Again, I don't know if this works. I've never tried it before, but it makes a lot of sense in my head. Show them a bad one, show them two bad ones, and then they think, okay, this guy's a terrible move, and then I use that better one. Everyone's shocked. Okay, they don't see it coming. Maybe we steal it out a little bit later in the game.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think. So one other thing with that. At any point in time, we want to make sure just going off of controlling runners again. Making sure, just like I said about being unpredictable, making sure we are changing our leg lift, like what my leg is doing. A big thing we'll see a lot with runners on second is guys try to be quick, which is fine, trying to be quick towards home. We have to understand, if I'm always quick towards home, so if I'm always doing a slide step, okay, with the runner on second base, and then on one random pitch, I decide to go up, guys are going to start to figure out, okay, he never pitches with a high leg lift, so there's a good chance that he's coming over to second base. So what we want to do when we're pitching, whether it's first base, second base, I need to make sure I am also changing up my leg lift. In my opinion, there's three different options. We're going to go just regular high leg lift, okay? The other main one is a basic slide step. And then the one that I really like to do when I was playing was just kind of like an abbreviated leg lift. So not a full leg lift, but not quite a slide step. I thought that was a good option for myself. It worked well. I wasn't a huge fan of the slide step, and I was still fairly quick with an abbreviated leg lift. So that's another good one to do. But going back to my point of runners on first, runners on second, it's extremely important that we are switching up what I'm doing, because too many guys get in the habit, runner on second, okay, I slide step, and then one random one, I'm doing an inside move, and it just doesn't look the same. I'm not selling it that I'm pitching towards home. So we want to make sure that throughout our pitches, runners on, we are changing up our leg lift. Got anything going along with that, Coach Connor?
No, that was good. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. So we kind of want to summarize everything before we go into the Q&A.
Yeah, for sure.
I think be unpredictable.
Yeah, no doubt. Be
just
unpredictable.
the biggest thing.
If you guys take anything away from this, be unpredictable on the mound. Try things out. Try different moves. If you get called for a balk, it's okay. Just learn from it, right? Don't be scared of making a mistake. It happens. That happens in baseball all the time. Major leaguers make mistakes. It happens, right? We just have to learn from it. We got to learn what we can and what we cannot do. What we are physically able to do and what we physically cannot do. But the only way we're ever going to figure that out is by actually trying it out. So making sure that you are being unpredictable, try different moves out, work on your inside move, work on your A, B, C move, work on your spin turn towards second, work on timing plays, all that kind of stuff. That's That's a pretty good summary, I would say.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's good. Be unpredictable. So now we just kind of want to jump into a Q&A.
Yeah.
So ask us anything. We can even move away from pitching stuff if you guys have questions about hitting or anything like that. So
Yeah, whatever you guys want, we're here to help however you guys need it.
So one we got, is there any time that we picked a third?
Very debatable. Again, this depends on your coach. This depends on the team. Depends on the situation. If that guy's getting a huge lead and we have a chance to win a state championship, normally I would say don't pick the third. Just, again, my personal opinion. Everyone has their own opinion. There's no right or wrong answer, I will say. But mainly we teach here at Metro, we don't pick the third. We don't have our guys hold runners on third. It's just not something we do. It's not something that we think is the right way to play baseball. So we try to avoid that. But I'm not saying there's never a situation. If that guy's getting extremely greedy and you think you can get him out, go for it. I'm not going to be mad at you if you try it because you are noticing something, right? If you see something and you are trying to be an intelligent baseball player by making a play that might be, again, a little bit unpredictable, go for it. But just in general, what do you got, Coach? I would say, unless it's a situation like that, not so much, but what do you got?
Yeah, I think I lean towards the side that we don't do that, but again, state championship, if someone's taking advantage of the fact that we're not going to pick the third or something like that, then
yeah, again, it might be the time where we're coaching together and we say, yeah, just go ahead, give them the pick sign, go for it. But yeah, other than that, we like to stay away from it, but we're not saying it's right or wrong. We just choose not to talk about that too much. We think we don't need to worry about that too much. As you get older, that's something you really never see. You don't see pickoffs to third. So if it's something you want to do and you want to work on it, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. We just don't see there to be a huge need for it.
Yeah, don't get that mixed up with back picks from the catcher, though. We love when the catcher throws
Correct.
the third, the second, first,
Correct.
wherever. We like those kinds of back picks.
Yes, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Where should my eyes be when doing the inside move?
Again, to make it as realistic as possible, what guys are taught is when you are pitching, you look at your target. Again, now if you're a guy who always look at second base when you lift your leg, make it realistic, right? Look at second base. You just have to know what you do every time you pitch. You just have to know what you're doing with your eyes, what you're doing with your head. Again, if you change it up, and that's where we're looking, that's another good way to keep them off balance, to have them not know what we're doing. But majority of the time, if they see you looking at home and you are looking like you're going to pitch, again, they might be a little bit more inclined to take their secondary. Again, good time to do an inside move, right? So making sure that I just like to teach, look at home, right? Keep everything towards home. But if you're a guy who looks at second base with the runner on second, not saying you can't do that anymore, right? Because if you always look at second when you're pitching, and then on one random one you're looking at home, again, one team might pick up on, okay, that's not what he normally does. I'm going to stay a little bit closer.
Yeah, I would say anytime that we're trying to pick someone off, so our A move to first, a lefty's A move to first, inside moves, spin moves, we're trying to keep everything the same. So if I normally come set not looking at the runner on first base, we'll say, then if I'm going to do my A move, I don't want to come set, all of a sudden now I'm checking the runner over there. Just want to keep everything the same. We don't want to give away anything that might let the runner know, hey, I might pick right here, or anything like that. So,
Right.
let's see. Do you grip the ball different for a pick? I assume four-seam fastball, could be wrong.
Stick with the four seam, right? Throw the ball that's going to go the straightest, get there the quickest. Again, for the sake of your first baseman, your shortstop, your second baseman, we don't want to throw them a ball from a shorter distance that's going to move on them. Like, we don't want one to run, handcuff them, or anything like that. Yes, please learn how to pick with a four-seam grip. Just again, for the sake of your infielders, again, Coach Connor being an infielder can probably give you some more insight on why it's important to throw that. Use the four-seam when you're picking. Besides just controlling the ball, you got better control with it. So.
Yeah, no doubt. Just as a shortstop, if I'm coming to try and pick somebody off, if I'm turning to like tag, make a tag, and all of a sudden the ball runs on me, now it's in center field. So I'm moving fast as the shortstop or the second baseman. I don't want the ball to be running all kinds of different directions either. So I agree with what you were saying.
Yeah, four-seam grip. Can't go wrong with it. Can't go wrong.
A big thing that I would say, so let's say you do come set with a breaking ball grip, you either have to change it if you decide that you need to pick, or more realistically, probably just step off. If you don't have a four-seam grip, then I would say that you probably can't pick.
Yeah.
Would you agree? You either have to change it or...
Correct. I do agree, for sure, no doubt about it. Making sure that one of the biggest things that I didn't touch on is make sure we are comfortable when we are on the mound. Be comfortable with picking. Be comfortable with your grip. Be comfortable with checking runners, stuff like that. So 100% what Coach Connor said.
Do you have to throw the second base on an inside move?
We do not. Second base, inside move, spin turn, you do not have to throw the ball. We do not have to throw the ball to second base.
So when is the only time that we have to throw it?
It would be only time we ever have to throw the ball, okay, first base, if we are not stepping off. So if I'm doing A or B move, okay, I do have to throw it. But if I do have a C move, okay, I do not have to throw. You're more than welcome to, but you do not have to throw it. Completely up to you.
If we missed any questions, if you guys could send them again, or if you have any other questions.
Yeah, please feel free to work on this stuff at home if you have a net. Okay, if you have a partner, that's awesome, because then you can probably do it from the real distance. If you can only do it in your garage, if you can only do it in your room without a ball, that stuff works too. Anytime you can work on the footwork. The big thing is the footwork, just syncing your feet up with your arm. That's what allows us to make good throws, good accurate throws, quick throws. But it's something we have to work on. If the first time you do it is in a game, of course you're not going to be comfortable doing it. So we definitely want to make sure that we're working on this stuff, whether it's right now where we can only be at home in our backyard, in our room, before the season starts, just so once I get out there, the first time I'm picking isn't in a game. It was 2 months ago. I've been working on it for 2 months. I've been perfecting it, just like my swing, just like my pitches. We don't want to treat this any different. It's just something we have to put time into if we want to be a high-level pitcher, if we want to be able to be a pitcher at the next level, whatever that level may be. Being a good pitcher with controlling runners is extremely important. It's extremely important. Very, very valuable. Very valuable. Coaches will tell you that all the time. If I can have a guy that is going to keep that runner at the base they are at, okay, make them earn everything, again, extremely valuable to teams. So that just makes you, a better player overall. Way more valuable as a player.
So we got another one. Is it easier for a lefty pitcher to try to take out a runner on third and a righty pitcher for first base?
Is it easier?
So is it easier for a lefty to pick to third and a righty to pick to first?
No, I would say no. Again, I've never been a left-handed pitcher, so I don't know how easy it is to pick in front of me. But I would assume if I was throwing a ball in front of me as opposed to behind me, it would probably be a little bit easier. I have my eyes on the target. It's easier for me to step that way as opposed to turning around, me not being able to see my target, okay, turning around. So I would always say, whatever base you're facing, unfortunately righties, since we're not going to pick off too often to third base, maybe every once in a while, I would say the base in front of us. So for a lefty, it should theoretically be easier for you to pick to first base, just because you can look at them the whole time, right? You have him in your view the entire time. You're just stepping towards the target. You're stepping directly towards the target instead of having to completely switch your feet, right? It's just going to be easier if something is directly in front of you. But again, that might be a personal preference. Maybe maybe a righty is way more comfortable picking that way than to a base right in front of them. So there is a little bit of preference in that.
How far away should the runner be when you pick? From Ethan Versace.
Ethan, good question, buddy. This again, it's going to depend. Okay, so what we really go off of, whether we should, is if you think it's a fairly big lead and it looks like he's going to steal, especially you being a lefty, Ethan. Again, that's a good time. Like if you're ever unsure, that's a good time. Like there's no limit on how many times you can pick. Again, Coach Connor can chime in on, yeah, if I get to this distance, this is a good distance for me to run, or okay, I'm not running, so I'm here. If Coach Connor wants to chime in on that. Again, there might not be, for base runners, it might not be a specific distance, it's just a feel off the pitcher. Yeah, just in general, it's going to be different depending on the runner. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I would agree with Coach Schubert. It just depends on the runner. So it's hard to say this many feet is when you should pick, because if Coach Schubert is way faster than I am and way quicker and he's taller, he can get farther than I can, then I would have to stay shorter. So it kind of looks different. So it just depends on the runner. It's hard to say exactly how far. It's just something that you'll get a feel for as you get going with it.
Yeah, the best thing you can do is just try it. That's how you're going to learn. It's just by trying these things out. Okay, he's at this distance. He's a fairly fast runner, and he's this many feet off. I'm going to try to do my pick. Okay, that was a really close one. If he gets another step or another half step, I know I'm going to do my A move, and I'm going to pick him off. Just stuff like, again, just trial and error. Try it out. See what works for you. See what doesn't. Try to read what the runner's doing. See what stays consistent with them. See what's different with them. Okay, and then as you get older, as you keep going through this, as you see them get further, then you know in your head, okay, I've seen this before. I've seen this kid get this far off. I'm going to pick. And then just go from there. Just keep trying things out, and you'll learn more about yourself, more about runners, just by trying things out.
So, is it tough to pick to third because the third baseman shouldn't be covering the base, or should he be standing at the base like a first baseman?
Okay, so again, this is something that we at Metro teach our third basemen, just in general, is we teach them not to hold the runner on. In regards to the reason why we don't think picking to first is the best thing is just the risk reward.
Picking to third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. Picking to third, yes. Right. So it's just risk reward. We don't think that picking to third is that beneficial because of the risk of the pitcher potentially making a bad throw. Okay, now a run scores. Instead of them just having to earn it, instead of them just having to get a base hit, sac fly, okay, making them earn it is, again, in our opinion, just a better way to go about it. Not saying it's wrong to try to pick them off or hold the runner on, but we would prefer to see if this hitter can get his job done and score that run. And we want to make them earn it. Got anything with that, Coach Connor?
No.
Just risk reward. We like to think it's a big risk to throw the ball to third base, because if we do mess it up, it's a run. If I mess up the throw to first base, okay, they get to second, maybe to third, but they don't score a run off of it. So yeah, just in general, we like to tell our guys to not hold runners on at third. If he gets a gigantic lead, maybe that is a time when we'll say, okay, we'll put a timing play on right here. Okay, and you'll go after 2 seconds, you'll pick. But just in general, we try to stay away from that.
If you guys have any other questions, James says thank you, Coach Schubert.
Of course, James. Thank you very much for coming out to this. We appreciate your support. We really do. It means a lot to us.
Thank you, James. All good, I think.
All right.
If you guys have anything else, go ahead and send it. I think Coach Schubert and I would do this all day.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. We miss this so much. So anything you have, anything you want to talk about, we're more than happy to chat about it. We really do appreciate everyone coming out to this. We thank you for taking your time to listen to this, and hopefully you learned some things. Hopefully you heard some things that you haven't heard before, and it makes you think a little bit differently, or it opened up some doors for you. We really do appreciate it. We know we went over just a little bit, so we do appreciate you coming out and watching this and supporting us. You got anything else, Coach Connor?
No, we just hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. Please be sure to help out small businesses, support them in this difficult time. We are having some promotions going on right now. Our Little League summer camps are 30% off at the moment. Gift cards, if you spend $100, you get $30 free. And we are running another private lessons deal, 10-pack, $70 per lesson. So it equals $700. It's a good deal. So, again, just stay healthy, stay safe.
Yeah, we really do appreciate you guys supporting us. You guys have been awesome. It really means a lot to us, and we hope you guys are staying healthy out there, making yourselves better, and academically, baseball-wise, whatever you're doing, being productive. We do appreciate all your support. I think that's it. You got anything else? Any questions?
Looks like Cannon says he's fist bumping us right now.
Cannon, my guy, what's up, buddy?
Thanks for coming, dude.
Thank you very much. Good.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you guys again. We appreciate it.
We'll see you all later.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. See you soon.